Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Doki Cast. This is episode number 3. That's right, 3 episodes. It's technically 4, but zero's. It's like its own little thing. It's unique. It's special. Anyways, before we dive in, as always, we got to see how everybody's doing. Mark, Mason, how are y'all doing?
Doing great here.
I'm doing all right. I'm just living life.
That's right, living life. I like it. I'll tell you what, it's been an interesting week of sicknesses, again, throughout the household. And then, man, I posted a Doki Doki short, and I got, age restricted. And I'm like, you know what? Actually, it's fair. It's pretty fair. It was, I got a little descriptive, and I'm like, no, that's fine. We can age restrict that one.
Which one was it?
It's called Doki Doki Did You Know Seeing Red. And it's talking about that one random event where after the special poem of Act 2, like the second one, your screen turns red and everything gets muffled and you hear this weird noise, and it's pretty much what Sayori was seeing at the end of Act 1. And so I kind of talked about that and how the Happy Thoughts special poem had little red underneath Sayori's eyes, and that's blood piling up in her eyes. I may have gotten really descriptive too about some parts of it, and so
YouTube is super strict on self-harm stuff.
They don't like that, and I never specifically said anything about her doing it, but I'm pretty sure they just know if it's tag DDLC and a couple of random images pop up. They're like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Moderator, this is a Doki Doki fan.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I'm not upset. I'm like, whatever. But if you're watching it and you haven't seen it, and you're not verified as an adult on YouTube, that's why you haven't seen it, because you're not going to see it.
Yep.
Well, okay. Well, let's jump on in. Today we're discussing Acts 3 and 4, because they're both relatively short, depending on how you play Act 3, and kind of wrap up the main base game. And I'm excited. I'm really excited for this one. So let's start with Act 3, obviously. So Act 3 starts after Monika pretty much deletes every other character and resets your game. And then you are literally in the space classroom, or the just Monika section, whatever you want to call it. We're left alone with just her in an endless loop. So my first question to the two of you is, what were your first thoughts when this happened? Were you surprised? Were you confused? Let's talk about that. And Mason, you go first.
Very confused. I did not know what was happening. I felt it was kind of a weird jump going from Act 2, which if you missed our conversation about Act 2, make sure to check that out. It was episode 3, I believe. And but spoiler warning right here, we basically go from Yuri's death, and Natsuki, I believe she throws up in front of the classroom, and then she runs out, and then Monika says something, I think, can't remember what, but then immediately cuts to Monika sitting in the
that's a shame.
Yeah,
that's what she says.
And then all that stuff happened. So it was very surprising seeing that, just super, not even just a tone shift, but the kind of gameplay shift from it being a visual novel to, I guess it's still a visual novel, but literally just Monika sitting in front of you, and you can't really, there's no options or anything. It's just Monika completely yapping in front of your face,
staring into your soul.
That definitely a good image they chose of Monika there. But there's definitely a big twist on the gameplay. I shouldn't say big, we already know it's a big twist, but on the actual gameplay side of things, not the storytelling and stuff. Just it's a big surprise. Yeah,
it was definitely a very different atmosphere, feel. Everything was very different, which I thought it was a good way to end it. What about you, Mark? How did you feel about this? What were your kind of first impressions and whatnot?
I thought it was really unique. It was seeing a character just staring at you and not blinking, not moving at all. The background's moving though, so you know that it's not a frozen screen. And it was just being really creepy. And she's just not she's different but the same. Her personality, her true self comes out. She starts talking candidly and rudely, um, kind of being a bit harsh about her friends, things of that sort. Um, I really liked it. I think Act 3 might be my favorite act, just because there's so much to it, and yeah, it's really interesting.
I would have to agree how super interesting it is. I definitely, when I first played it, was like, what's going on? And then I kind of like Mason, how you were saying, like, there's nothing else you can do. You're just here, like you're stuck. Like there are no other options. You like you can't like really go anywhere. You can't really do anything. You just have to sit there and listen to her talk to you, which I thought was a super interesting change of pace. And I thought it was a really good kind of culmination of everything we've been experiencing, all shoved into her kind of like, I'm not going to say her perfect world, because it's not, but her idea of how she wants to do things now. And also, kind of tying into what you said, Mark, how, like, you know, you're looking at the screen and she's staring at you, but in the background, in the windows, you can see that movement. I thought that was an excellent game design choice, because it brought life to this pretty much still picture. Like she would talk, and like it was like a couple of movements with her, like, you know, mouth, and like she'd move her, like, you know, eyes and whatnot, but there really wasn't a lot of movement. And I think that in the background really brought the room to life, which I think was a brilliant idea.
Oh yeah.
You know, it was pretty interesting seeing the room. It was so weird. My first playthrough was, I didn't even know it was an actual DDLC classroom. I didn't realize that till years later. That's the same classroom that the entire game took place in, just obviously facing a different direction.
Yeah.
I believe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I am wrong, but it's the same classroom, I believe.
I think
and
so.
Just seeing like everything out the window was like, there's no way that's DDLC.
Yeah, and like even like the tone, like the coloration of everything, like the lighting, all of that was changed, and it felt like a completely new and creepy and unnerving thing too. It's so funny how, like you mentioned, just a simple change of angles can make something feel so creepy and different. I mean, I like that a lot. So obviously this is like Mark, you said this is your favorite act. This is obviously a lot of people's favorite act, because we have gotten quite a few mods based around this this act. I think the most known one is Monica's after story, which I believe to this day still gets updated with new content.
It got updated a couple months ago, I know.
Yeah, there you go. Like to this day, it still gets updated. And if you don't know what that is, it's pretty much Act 3, except you're spending all your time with Monica, and you can do a whole bunch of different things, like playing games with her, like making random comments, like very, very detailed. Like a lot of effort was put into it. But there's also other ones, mods, where you can spend time with the other Dokis as well in that area. Like, I don't know if they're called just Sayori or just Yuri or anything like that.
Yeah, it's pretty close to him.
But I've never played those, but I think it's cool too.
You know, I found it kind of strange. There was like, I know that there was 2 different Just Natsuki mods, because I remember I played one like 5 or 6 years ago. And now there's different ones, a completely different art style. It's completely different.
Yeah,
I have the old videos uploaded on somewhere on one of my mod channels, I think. You cannot find that one anywhere. It just like completely disappeared.
That happens, I've noticed, with some mods. Some mods just literally vanish off the face of the earth. I've seen people in the Reddit asking, like, hey, does anybody have this mod? I can't find it anywhere. And I do find that kind of interesting, because I hear a lot of really, really good mods have also disappeared too. And I'm sure there's various reasons, and I don't know the reasons, nor do we need to get into them. But it's just kind of crazy how mods will show up and disappear, and like it's like, I swear this existed. I'm not crazy. This is a thing, type stuff. Yeah. So let's talk about the Monica talks, like her little segments where she's yakking. What is the most memorable to you, or your favorite out of all of them? What would you say was your favorite? Mark, you go first.
What was the question? Sorry, my computer just went wild.
Oh, it's so basically of all of the talking subjects Monica can bring up during the space classroom, which one was the most was your favorite? Which one do you remember the most? Things like that.
Um, I think my favorite topic was probably the. Oh, can we say this? Am I allowed to say it? The self harm one. The Minecrafting yourself one, if you will. Even just saying that feels wrong. It feels like I'm making light of it, but I'm not. But when and Mason made a video about this the other day. It was something that I discovered on in the files of when I was looking at the original 1.0.0 version of DDLC. Was she talked about? I'll just say it, suicide. She was a lot more rude and harsh about it. And Dan actually went in and changed it later on. My other favorite topic is actually very similar. It's about Sayori's death. Now, if you guys don't know, well, there's two things about the Sayori one that's an interesting fact. Number one, Matt Pat, you guys know who Matt Pat is from Game Theory.
Yeah.
He famously, or to be as famously, he refused to delete Monica until that specific conversation. And he's like, yeah, now that I heard how she's acting about Sayori, I feel more better deleting her. So that was one funny thing about it. But the other thing was there is I believe on the DDLC Plus version. I don't know if it's on all versions or just PlayStation. But she skips a line of dialogue in some of the versions. So this is gonna be really graphic. She talks about the method of dying that Sayori did. And she talks about jumping. There's a line about jumping and how she didn't jump high enough. And that dialogue is completely cut from the game at some point. I don't know when. It's still in the original game. I checked it a couple of weeks ago. But it's not a DLC Plus. Or at least not in the PlayStation. It might be on PC, but I find it very interesting though, because obviously that's a little harsh. But anyway, I like those two because it kind of shows how mean Monica can be. And I like Monica as a villain. She's an incredible villain. Of course, we'll get there when we get there. One day we'll have to discuss whether or not she's a good person or not. But as a villain, I like that for her. So yeah, those are my two favorites. I can't really decide which one.
Definitely, I like it. I think those are both very dark and really good ones as well. And I like how you mentioned the differences between or how they were edited in between a few different versions, because that was the thing I wanted to bring up anyways. But yeah, there's definitely some parts that were toned down, which I personally don't think they needed to be. In fact, I sent a thing, I think it was today or maybe yesterday. I don't even know. My days are getting mixed together. I sent a thing to the two of y'all showing the original quit screen during the end of Act 1. Which was basically, if you don't know, there was an original screen where it'd get all weird whenever you try to quit right during the end of Act 1, but they decided that might be a little too much. And I'm sitting here thinking, this is crazy. I wish that would have been stayed, but no, I definitely get you. What about you, Mason? Which was your most memorable or favorite?
I actually gotta kind of comment on Mark's favorite. I actually remember. I don't think it was from the actual game. I feel like it was from the Monica mod that we are just talking about earlier, because I remember I feel like it gave me a warning before doing it. It was like, "Are you sure you want to talk about it?" I feel like it was exactly how you described it, and yeah, it was definitely. I don't know, it kind of seemed like Monica was actually mocking Sayori. It was kind of crazy hearing Monica say those words, man. But definitely a memorable moment. That was definitely a good one to bring up. But one I wanted to bring up that kind of resonated with me was the one that I believe it was about middle school or maybe high school. I guess you kind of talked about just like school in general and nostalgia. Because when I played this game the first time, I wasn't just going into high school, like not even a freshman. I remember she specifically brought up like looking back at her, like not even really her childhood, but just like back in middle school, and she was like, "Oh, this was so cringe. Why did I do this? I was so goofy back then." And it kind of related with me because I always think of myself that way. I don't know if that's just something that I do, but I'm always
Yeah.
like, that was so cringy. Why did I do that? And you know what? Looking after graduating high school, I was definitely a goober in high school, bro. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So that one really
Same.
related with me. I was just scrolling through your list, Mark, and I saw that one. I saw it said middle school, and that's the first thing I thought about. I know there's one in actual DDLC. I don't know if that's the specific one, but I know it's somewhere in there. But yeah, that's my pick.
I think, like bringing back to the original one about Sayori, like talking about how kind of just dark and messed up Monica it kind of is during this one. I was looking at this one as we were talking about it, and just the first few lines where she says, "I was thinking about Sayori earlier. I still wish I could have handled that whole thing a little more tactfully. You're not still hung up over it, right?" And then she
Oh,
starts laughing,
right.
saying, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that."
It's like,
Um,
sure, Monica,
but
sure.
there's it's just interesting. I mean, she even called her very clumsy because she didn't do it right, how she messed the whole thing up. And it really is. It shows you how little she seemed to have cared at that moment, which is very,
And
I mean, sad to be honest. But I think
it's
my personal favorite is one that doesn't happen to everyone. My personal favorite is one that only happens if you are recording or
Oh, I know where you're
streaming,
going.
and it's literally
yeah,
called recording, and it's pretty much, it happens pretty much right towards the beginning of the whole segment, like kind of right as it starts going through the loops. She basically, if you happen to have OBS or any Streamlabs, XSplit, any type of program that's like streams or records, she'll basically say, "Wait a minute, you're recording right now, aren't you?" And she's like, "Well, I don't, I can't read any comments that are right here," but like she starts talking to the chat or to the comments, and then she's like, "Oh, do you want to see a magic trick?" And then it slowly zooms in on her face, and then pulls back and is like, I'm just kidding, I can't do it. And then it jumps to her face, and the iconic cracked face Monica with yellow and red appears on the screen. I've used that many a times in my shorts. And then I think that's my absolute favorite, just because it's a random jump scare, which doesn't happen a lot in DDLC. They don't really give you a lot of jump scares. It's more like creepy, weird stuff. So I'm like, oh, that's crazy. That's interesting. And then it's just crazy. It's just I just thought that was really really cool, and I really enjoyed that one. But I think one of the cool things too is, like, we were talking about how uncomfortable things were, how some of the things were, and that was exactly what they wanted. Like, I remember I read a thing talking about how Dan Savato said that he wanted these to be as uncomfortable as possible for us playing, and kind of just show how she's kind of just broken down a bit because she knows she's in the game, so she just doesn't care. And so I think that's just, I think it worked. I really do. I think it worked phenomenally too. So
yeah,
we talked a little bit about, like, the favorite topics, like talking about how creepy they were, how unnerving they were, and like how they were changed slightly between Plus and the original, plus just random updates. But now let's actually talk about kind of going to the game. How long did it take y'all before you realized you needed to delete her? So like, how long did it take you? Mason, you go first.
It took me forever. I didn't even know you had to delete Monica. I was so confused, it just kept going on, and then I was recording this too. I remember it was at, like, someone's birthday party because we were doing it at my dad's house, and I was upstairs, and there's a bunch of people downstairs having a party, and they're texting me like, "Mason, what are you doing? It's your sister's birthday." And I'm, like, clicking through the game trying to get to the end of it because I don't even think you could save it in Act 2 because it's really just the same thing. So I was like, "Come on, man, give me a save point." And I got so stressed out over it that I went on YouTube and looked up DDLC walkthrough because you need a walkthrough for a visual novel game. It sounded dumb, but I did not know you had to go into the files and delete something. Like I thought that was crazy, unlike anything I've ever heard of it. Still to this day, what games do you play that require you to delete something in the files to progress? Like if you did that in like Fortnite, they would probably get banned for tampering with the files or something.
You're not
Crazy
wrong.
stuff. I'm still waiting for a DDLC Fortnite collaboration. If you watch the channel, you know talk about that like a million times.
It'll happen one
But
day.
yeah, I would say honestly it could have taken me an hour unironically, just sitting through everything.
I actually love that. That's actually awesome.
Yeah.
What about you, Mark? How about how long? Do you remember how long it kind of took you to figure out you needed
Oh,
to?
It took me like maybe 5-10 minutes, and then I kept. I mean, like, man, she's mentioning her files specifically like 3 separate times in the intro. So over time, I was just like, yeah, this is probably what I'm supposed to do. But I'm curious how long it goes. And then I sat there for like maybe an hour clicking through until it finally. Actually, you guys want to know a secret? I had to actually, and maybe I can recreate the glitch. It's a real glitch that happened to me. A renpai error popped up at some point.
Oh,
It was a real glitch, and it only happens in the first couple of versions of DDLC. And since I got it like day 2 or day 3 of release, I got the glitch, and it happened after I spent about an hour with Monica. So if you look at the chart I made, and if you want, Tanner, you can edit it in and kind of scroll down if you want for the people at home. In the chart that I made, there is one number that's completely skipped, number 26. It's completely skipped. Um, and for some reason, Dan must have like deleted a topic like right before release or something, and forgot to reorder all the numbers. So what happened was the random number generator, the RNG, it generates a new topic, one of her 52 topics or whatever, and it went to 32 after about an hour. And once it went there, it did a Python error. And the thing is not only could I not do anything, I couldn't do anything even after I closed the game. I closed the game and reopened it. She's like, "Player, why did you close the game? I'm so sad." And then once she goes back, be like, "Anyways, as I was saying, Python error." And then I'm like, "Oh my god!" And so I did it like 2 or 3 times. And at first, I thought it was part of the game because she has like 3 or 4 different lines of dialogue, depending upon how many times you close the game. Until finally she's like, "I was just accepted," and then she just repeated the same one. And then I realized, oh god, this is an actual glitch in the actual game. I should probably delete Monica. And so I deleted Monica, and luckily before the Python thing happened, it triggered the cutscene that happened after. But yeah, it's a real glitch. I'll have to find it. He patched it out pretty quickly, but it was, well, game breaking, I guess, because I was hard locked. It wasn't even soft locked. I couldn't do anything. Yeah, it was a super interesting glitch. But yeah, that's when I deleted her.
That's
Mark, I got a question.
Yeah.
Did you actually think it was a part of the game, or do you know it was a glitch? Because DDLC is so wacky like that.
I thought it was part of the game until Monica kept repeating
Mm.
the same. I'll just accept that you're gonna close the game, and I realized it was the same message. And once I realized that, then I was like, and then I actually would read the Python script again. I'll have to find footage for you guys tonight, but I had to find the. I had to read through it, and I realized, oh, there's something in the files that's missing, and I actually only like about a week later found out what it was, because I learned how to do RemPy, so I looked into it because I was so curious. But yeah, it was a legitimate error. It was missing the thing.
I
Um,
I like that. That's really cool.
yeah, I'll have to get footage for you to play for this part of the episode.
Yeah,
Very
that'd be
interesting.
cool.
Yeah. We'll
I
see if I can tonight.
I was actually pretty lucky or unlucky, I guess, because like I said, I streamed it, so I did think it was odd that she mentioned the character files, but like there was also people making like very unsubtle jokes about deleting her in the comments. So I'm like,
Comments,
okay,
yeah.
I'm getting it now. I'm picking up what you're putting down, and
Right.
so was able to go in and delete her. But I'm also glad you mentioned a couple of things, Mark. One about like closing the game out, because she actually has 4 different things she'll say every time you just quit the game, up until she just
Yeah.
gives up and pretty much like letting it go on, which I thought was a pretty cool thing to do.
Yeah.
What I would have loved, and I don't think this is a thing, at least nobody has seen it or talked about it, but I would have loved if you would have like quit the game and never deleted her, and then like if you would wait a specific amount of time before reopening the game, that would make her say something. So the reason I say this, in the horror visual novel You, Me, and Her, which a lot of people compare DDLC to, they actually did this. There was a moment in the game, spoiler alert, where like you could quit the game and like this fourth wall breaking, very similar to DDLC. And if you waited like a week or a day or a week or a month, it would change what the person, like what would be said. And this would happen for like up until years. Like it would go on. Like if you didn't log into a game for an entire year, it would change the dialogue to a year specific thing, and it was it was super cool. I think I made a short talking about it once, and I'm like, this would have been great to see on DDLC too.
I don't know if it's people messing around or modding it or not, but I do know that there are videos about Monica's after story of like, I talked to Monica after 100 years. It's
Yeah.
Monica's shocked face and all that stuff. So I know
That's
after
actually
story it talks about it. Yeah.
that's actually people changing the date. I've tried that before. You just go into your computer settings, like I'm on Windows, and just change the date, and then
This one.
the entire game freaks out.
That's funny.
Yeah, like that.
That's real funny. Now I remember reading this, but I haven't seen it in a bit. But like you mentioned him potentially deleting a Monica talk thing. And on the wiki, it said at one point that there were some unused Monica talks. Now I couldn't. I tried briefly looking for them before we started about it. Couldn't find them, but I might have just not looked hard enough. Nor do I remember what they were. But it did mention people finding unused ones in the files. So very much could have been that. That's like he deleted one, like 26, and then that caused it all to break down.
It could have been. I will say, on my chart that I made, which I guess I could make it viewable for anyone. We can link it in the description.
Yeah, put it in the Discord. You can put it there too.
Yeah. And you guys can all comment and let me know if there's anything you find different. But I've looked through the RenPy files of the 1.0.0 version, and all the ones I've written down are all the ones that are in the file. So maybe, possibly, some of them were unused, and then he ended up using them. 26, even in 1.0.0, was never used. It was blank. There's nothing there. Maybe the unused ones they're talking about are the patched in ones, because 42 through 46 were patched in 1.1.0. And there were probably a couple unused ones. I know that the God topic and the Super Smash Bros. Topic and the wine topics are all taken off DDLC Plus.
Mhm.
So they are unused for DDLC Plus. Which I find very interesting. I mean, I don't know why I should take those off, but that's fine.
There's no time. Probably some type of censoring type thing, if I had to guess.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, maybe there's some that I don't know about, maybe, but
I must say, I remember reading it, and I feel like I've made a short on it too, but I don't remember.
maybe.
Somebody
I mean,
in the comments let us know or post
I don't
it.
want to act like I know everything, so you know. Let me know.
My brain doesn't work half the time, so I couldn't tell
Neither
you.
does mine.
Anyways, so that's Act 3, and obviously at the end, quote unquote, of Act 3 is when you delete Monica's character file, and she basically gets crushed. And then she realizes that what she did was wrong, and she deletes herself and resets the game. So, same question, and then that's when Act 4 happens. So, same question that I had with Act 3. What did y'all think of Act 4? Like, everything resets, and then Monica is the one that's gone this time. What were your thoughts on that one? Mark, you can go first.
So Act 4 is very interesting. I've actually seen someone, I'm not gonna say who, but I've seen someone on YouTube that ended their playthrough during Act 4 before it actually ended, because he thought that it was just the game all over again. And I almost did that myself. I almost took a little break. I was like, okay, it's just the same. But then I started noticing little differences, like Yuri and Natsuki are getting along way better, and Sayori's a lot happier now, and she's now the president. And I was like, okay, I'm curious to see where this goes. Oh, and then the ending happens.
Yep.
That's a good question. Is which ending is your favorite?
Oh, I got a follow up with that one, which we'll talk about next.
All right,
Hold that one. Hold that thought.
Yeah, hold that thought. Mason, what do you think?
My thoughts on Act 4. Very short. I don't think I skipped it. I feel like I took a break after Act 3 and then went back to Act 4 later. So I don't know for sure though. But I did finish it, and I remember the ending where Sayori, gains control of the game. And I remember being super bummed out that the game ended there, because that was the good ending I'm talking about. There's 3 different endings: the good, the perfect, or whatever it is, the true ending, then the bad ending where you delete Monica before Act 1 or in Act 1. I was like, man, Sayori becomes like the club president and then is self-aware. What happens then? And you know what? Looking back at it now, that's probably the best way they could have ended the game. I mean, the game is. It took them 3 years to make the game, so if they added like a whole another act, it would have taken forever. And you know what? It's. I think the way it ended was great. It's the tables have turned, and now Sayori's in control. And I just think it's how the game should have ended.
I definitely felt a sense of wow, it's over. Like dang, it was like kind of a crazy moment of I didn't expect it to end the way it did on either of the endings, but I was just kind of like wow, I couldn't believe it. It was very short, it just kind of just ended, and then it just was all said and done, like done, and the game was over, and I was just like dang. But I'm glad you both kind of mentioned this. The multiple different endings. Obviously, if you for some reason don't know, there are technically 3 endings to DDLC. The one you get from just playing the game. Then there's that's just the normal ending. Then there's the true ending where you have to do some very specific events to get. And then there's the bad ending or the speedrun ending where you just delete Monica right away. And that kind of just basically ends the game. So, my question to the 2 of you is, 1, which one was your favorite? And 2, which one do you think is canon to the game?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'm gonna throw you on the spot, Mason. You go first this time.
Okay, for your first question, Tanner, I feel like
which one
I'm
do
gonna
you
be super
like
basic.
more, and which one is more canon to you?
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna be super basic saying this, but obviously I like the true ending better because they're all happy at the end. Again, I like the normal ending. It's like I would say that's a canon ending, just to get the two questions answered, but to go more in depth. The true ending, I know they're self-aware. I know Sayori thanks the player for like getting all the routes and spending time with all of the characters, which is something pretty unique in the game. I mean, obviously the game breaks the fourth wall, but I don't see many video game endings that like actually thank the player for playing the game or playing a certain way. The only other game I remember is Neptunia, which is a super niche game that only I would know because I play weird crap on this YouTube channel. But yeah, I know that game did it. It did like a whole song and dance at the end because we got the true super deluxe ending. But you know what? I like that. And yeah, the canon ending, I think Sayori like being the club president, Monica being deleted, it makes the most sense because Monica, you just deleted her. And you know what? I think if the person like controlling me and making go through all that stuff Sayori went through in Act 1, you know, I would definitely be a lot happier knowing that you're at peace now. So I think that the normal one would probably be the best canon if it had to be like an anime or something.
Yeah. What about you, Mark?
Oh man. So I like the true ending more because it's happier, of course. But I love them both. I actually feel like they're both canon in a way.
Okay.
I know that's hard to explain, and I don't really have a good explanation off the top of my head. But the game belongs to every person that's ever purchased it, or pirated it, or whatever. And each version of that game is Monica going through her own separate character arc. Is a separate version of Monica, a separate version of Sayori, Natsuki, and Yuri. To me, they're both canon, just for different people. And I know that's a cop out. I know my personal friend Devin's gonna call me out for that. But I think they're both canon. If I had a gun to my head and I had to choose, probably the true ending. But I don't know. The bad ending also feels good because the bad ending is where Monica gets to come back and save you, and the song at the end makes a little more sense in context with the bad ending. So yeah, I don't know. Pick your poison. I don't know.
I get you. I understand. I think so. This might be controversial in a way, but I actually my favorite. And don't get me wrong, I liked all of them, but my favorite was probably the normal ending, because even though the happier ending, the one was the one that I felt like we deserved, like that we wanted. That's the one we wanted. But I feel like the normal ending is the one we deserve to get. Like to where you just don't like it's you just the game you can't always get everything perfect. Like it's like you know they realize that this or Monica realizes that the power to know the power of her being sentient and any of them being sentient will never lead to something good because they are just in a game. And so like she went crazy with power, then Sayori goes crazy with power, and I'm sure if they did it with Yuri or Natsuki, the same thing would happen in different ways. And they says, look, we sadly enough, we can't be happy, so we just need to end it. So that's kind of my favorite, and I kind of think that one is the canon ending, even though it's not happy. I would love to see the other one as the canon ending. But most people, and some people didn't even realize that there was multiple endings, because most people don't realize that you have to stop and save and go back and do Act 1 again, but with a different pass, and then stop and save and go back again. And I just think that's just me personally. But funny enough, Mark, bouncing off of what you said, how every instance of DDLC is kind of its own thing. I actually made a video talking about that. If you look in DDLC Plus, whenever you reset the game, it actually runs a bunch of lines of code, a bunch of different commands get run, and you actually can see them restoring 4 different characters or 4 different character files, and you can know one is Monica because it has monitor kernel access next to its name, and you see the other 3. Every time you reset the game, those 4 numbers are different. So it's technically different versions of the characters each and every time.
Interesting.
Is it not,
Never
man? It's super cool. It's super cool. And I made a whole video. It's called Breaking the DDLC Canon. And it's one of my favorite theory videos I ever did. And I'm like, because it totally makes sense. And I also said too, because of this, technically, every copy of DDLC is canon. Which means people who make mods using the base copy of DDLC, technically, those are canon. Which technically means Buffsky is canon.
Yes! Buffsky!
Get that right there. Write it down.
Yeah.
Write it down, chat. That's your DDLC fact of the day. Buffsky's canon. So,
Yes.
but yeah, so I don't know. I really liked the ending. It was definitely like, I can't believe it. And of course the ending was very emotional, like, you know, her singing the song of the year, Monica singing, and then I do think it hits a little harder during the true ending because you see everything getting deleted. Like all your work, all your, like, you know, you worked up to get all those CGs unlocked, and then they just get deleted anyways. Like, which I do think that hits pretty hard, and I think that's pretty sad. But I do think that's more emotional that way. And then of course the secret ending, or the third ending, the quick ending, is just mentally horrifying. And if you don't know what happens during that, you know what? Go delete Monica in Act 1, and you'll see what happens for that one. It's a hoot. It's a hoot. Oh, a question to the two of you. On that note, okay, fine. I'm about to explain what happens. So, spoiler alert: if you don't know what happens during the secret ending, pause, go look at it right now. But for the two of you, so you know when you delete her, once you delete Monica, the game pops up, and Sayori is just like, hey, wait, what's going on? And freaks out, and then crashes the game. And when you come back, it's the black and white screen with Sayori just hanging there. But did you know that if you leave it on that screen for like 15 minutes, some text will appear? Slowly will fade
now
into...
everyone will be happy.
Now everyone will be happy. It will slowly fade onto the screen. And I think that's just like chef's kiss. Like, wonderful.
I want to know who did that.
I love it.
Who sat their butt down for 10 minutes and just with that screen and looked over and was like, are those words? Are words starting with here? Like, I want to know.
You're kind of got a point. Like, how weird and twisted do you have to be just to like sit there watching that screen for that long? Maybe my guess is somebody was like recording it and then like stepped away, or maybe they just had to step away for a moment and it was like gone for like umpteen amount of minutes, and they came back like, wait a minute, there's something right there.
I didn't know that.
It's neat. It's really neat.
I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, it's crazy how little is. There's so many little things in the game, which I know we've mentioned pretty much in.
We talk all about that stuff in this podcast.
Heck yeah, we are, and that's exciting. And I'm like diving deep and talking about all these Easter eggs and all these things in the fine detail. Because like I said, we've said this, I feel like every single episode so far, but so much love was put into the game, and so much effort, and it really does shine.
Yeah.
And it's so cool in my opinion. I really like it. But guys, that's kind of all the questions I had about Acts 3 and Acts 4. Was there anything either of the two of you wanted to bring up that we didn't talk about, or that we did talk about and you want to talk about it a little bit more when it has to do with Acts 3 or Act 4?
I don't think I have anything off the top of my head.
No, I don't think I got anything. You covered everything, Tanner.
It's pretty, funny enough, it's pretty cut and dry. Like Acts 1 and Acts 2 there's so much stuff there. There's so many fine details. There's so many branching paths. There's so many things you can do. And then finally we hit Acts 3 and 4 and everything is just simplified. It's just Monica, which is ironically enough, like had the whole thing of the meme of it and all things. It's just her. And it really shows in that point too, where the game is a lot simpler. It's a lot more like just there compared to the complex nature of the other two. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of complex things in Act 3 and Act 4 that you can see, but compared to 1 and 2, it's a lot less. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this episode. We have officially gone through the entire base game. That's awesome, guys. That's crazy. I feel like it's wild.
You finished.
Yeah, it's insane, which means a lot of good things will be happening soon. Of course, we'll eventually talk about the side stories and things, but I'm going to start really diving deep into a lot of different stuff. A lot of the Easter eggs, the debates. Is Monica a terrible person? Is the MC an actual character? Like things like that is where we're going to really start diving into, and we're going to start having special guests. That's right. We're going to be having somebody's face on this screen somewhere. And it's going to be somebody that you may know or you may not know. Either way, it's going to be really good. I hope y'all are excited. I know I'm excited. Are y'all excited?
Yeah.
excited.
I'm super hyped.
Um,
We got to get more people on here.
That's right.
Like people.
That's right. I think we said this before, but if you are interested, whether you are a modder, an artist, an animator, voice actor, a cosplayer, anything, or even just a really dedicated fan, or even a really crazy fan, let us know, and we can put you in line to get in. We have a little bit of everybody coming so far, and we're really excited. So it's going to be really good. But guys, that's going to be it for this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. As always, we really enjoyed hosting the Doki Cast for you. And until next time, we'll see you later.
See ya.